Paul Child. I scored the tying goal and the winning goal on Friday night. Hopefully I can be part of a big win today on the way to the playoffs in Kansas City.
Spirit Soccer is brought to you by Stroh's and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste. By Burger King, where you get those juicy flame-broiled burgers that are never fried. Aren't you hungry for Burger King now? By Mellon Bank, a neighbor you can count on. Member FDIC. By Thrift Drug, the R experts, where you get R extra service. And by Cameron Coca-Cola. Coke is it.
Live from Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, it's the most important game of the year for the Pittsburgh Spirit as they take on the Kansas City Comets. A very pleasant good afternoon and welcome to Kansas City. I'm John Sanders. This is John Paul Della Camera. I think that's it. Pretty simply, this is the game for the Pittsburgh Spirit today.
More so than for Kansas City. If Kansas City loses today, they would still have a decent shot at getting that last playoff spot. But for Pittsburgh, it really is a do-or-die situation.
Well, we've already heard from Paul Child, who did get the tying and the game-winning goal on Friday night in a big win over Cleveland. But another hero has to be Stan Terlecki in that game with his assists.
Stan had 3 assists. It was a strange combination. Stan and Paul Child don't normally play on the same line. They're opposite players. But on the game-tying goal and the game-winning goal, it was Stan Terlecki assisting for Paul Child.
And in case you don't understand about all of this playoff business, 6 teams are all set, the automatic qualifiers. There are 4 wild card spots, and there are 5 teams in the chase for that. And if you look at the standings, it shapes up exactly like this. Pittsburgh right now is the odd team out, 1 game behind Kansas City. You can talk about magic numbers all you want to, John Paul, but if you look at the standings, the wins and the losses, the Spirit have to win in their last 6 games. That's all there is to it.
Well, if Pittsburgh can win this game today, they will be 1 full game behind Kansas City with 5 to play. And the schedule does favor Pittsburgh from the standpoint that Pittsburgh has 4 of their next 5 at home. Kansas City goes on the road for 4 straight, and 4 of their last 5 are away from home. So it's a big game today for the Pittsburgh Spirit. If they lose, the lead goes back up to 3 games, and that's going to be tough.
Well, let's show you exactly what is remaining. First of all, for the Comets of Kansas City, their schedule remaining, as John Paul pointed out, most of it is away from here in the Kemper Arena. They will play at Dallas, at Los Angeles, at Tacoma, and at St. Louis. 4 very tough games before they wind up here in Kansas City against Minnesota. Pittsburgh has it a little bit better as far as the schedule is concerned because they will play 4 of their final 5 games at home where they have been much better than on the road. The Pittsburgh schedule looks like this. Las Vegas will be there on Thursday. Then it's Baltimore. Then a game in Minnesota. That's next Sunday. We'll televise that one, the final road game of the season. They wind up at home against Baltimore and Dallas. Certainly not easy teams, John Paul, but the Spirit still can do it.
You'd hate to play Las Vegas. 20 wins in their last 21 games. They're almost infallible, that team. But if Pittsburgh can win today, that's 2 games in a row. That's some momentum. That's some confidence going in. And it's far better than losing a game here this afternoon.
But the key is winning today. We'll find out if the Spirit can do that as they take on the Comets here in Kansas City. We'll be back. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Welcome back to Kansas City once again. We've been waiting all year to do it, John Paul. This is as good a time as any to have a winner in our goal-getter contest.
And Terry May will be hopeful that Paul Child will score a goal in this first quarter. If so, then Terry May will receive $100 in gift certificates or in groceries from the new Giant Eagle. We haven't had a winner yet this year, so hopefully Terry May becomes the first.
Well, the Spirit trying to win for the 2nd time in a row, but only the 4th time this year away from the friendly confines of the Civic Arena. And Coach John Kowalski has decided to go with Joe Papaleo in goal. And I think that's a little bit of a surprise that Joe is starting. He's had an injury problem.
Well, Joe was going to get the start as we look at him here. Papaleo was going to be the intended starter. That's the way the rotation went, but he turned his ankle in a practice earlier this week. He wanted to make sure that Joe's ankle was okay. If not, you may see Peter Mavlik play even the second half today.
And at the other end of the Kemper Arena, we will find the number 2 goalkeeper in the MISL 3 times this year. Manny Schwartz has been named the MISL Defensive Player of the Week.
He's a very fine goalkeeper, John, and had a 4-game winning streak snapped the other night when this team lost to Kansas City. Against Pittsburgh, a 4.39 average, and he is 1 win, no losses.
This broadcast is intended for the private use of our viewing audience. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Civic Arena Corporation and the Pittsburgh Spirit is prohibited as we get set for soccer. Fourth and final meeting of the year between these two teams, and of course we've already talked about the importance of the game. Kansas City won both games in Pittsburgh. They won by scores of 10-6 and 4-3 for Coach John Kowalski. And then here in this building, a 3-2 victory for Kansas City. That was the last meeting on February 8th. That was quite a game because we had a penalty shot that tied the game, and then the Comets finally won it.
Pittsburgh led 2-0. Now that was when Stan Terlecki was suspended. It was not an offensive game. Pittsburgh led by a couple of goals. They gave one up that they didn't want to because it put Kansas City right back into the game, and a very controversial call because at the time of the game it was made, and also it was not made initially. It was just signified as a foul. Then one of the other officials, who happened to be Gino DiPolito, who was doing this game, basically overruled the other official, called it a penalty shot. Kansas City scored on it, and then 37 seconds before the end, Tasu Koutsoukas, who seems to always play well against Pittsburgh, put one in to win it for the Comets.
Leading scorers in the series so far this year, Civies with 5 points for Pittsburgh. Topolsky also 5 points. Each has 3 goals and 2 assists. Terlecki only 2 and 2, but he missed that last game, as John Paul pointed out. Katsoukas has been effective with 2 goals, 3 assists, a total of 5 points. Then Ficus and Salguero, who will not be in the lineup this afternoon for Kansas City. It's Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Could be all the marbles as far as the Pittsburgh Spirit are concerned this afternoon. We are in Kemper Arena, where they average about 13,000 fans a game, so we have a good house for this game this afternoon. We are delighted to have you with us as we get set for our next to last telecast of the season and to take you through the first 15 minutes of this critical MISL game. Here's John Paul.
Thank you, John Sanders. Zeke Kapka with it, playing it over to Adam Topolsky. It is Topolsky and O'Hara as defenders in front of Joe Papaleo. The starting line, Ian Civies, Zeke Kapka, and Stan Terlecki. And Kansas City has a lot of firepower out there right now. Their top line, Laurie Abrahams with Charlie Ficus, Tasu Koutsoukas, Greg Mikowski, and Tim Twellman as Kansas City tries to win this ball on the far side. Broken up, Civies knocks it ahead. Kapka running it into the left wing boards. Tasu Koutsoukas marking him. Played back in the neutral zone where O'Hara plays it up for Kapka. Johnny got a big goal the other night against Cleveland, brought the Spirit back in. Kansas City now takes it away on a Twellman play. Charlie Ficus over midfield to Mikowski in the attack zone. Plays it in the box. It's behind Abrahams, and Papaleo just pounces on that loose ball.
Abrahams had sneaked into the box area that time and gotten behind John O'Hara, but unfortunately for Kansas City and fortunately for us, they couldn't get the ball to him.
Yeah, good pass might have done it. Here's Stan getting it around Twellman in the right wing boards area. Terlecki cutting, takes the shot, punched down by Manny Schwartz. Topolsky plays it in, that goes wide. Kapka, not enough on it. Civies is down, trying to make a play, gives it off for Kapka. Z in trouble, still blasting away at it. And now Kansas City tries to move it away, and they will play it back to Manny Schwartz. I'm not so sure he saved that shot at all as much as it was self-defense.
You're right, it was a good hard shot by Stan Terlecki, and really Schwartz did go up in self-defense, made a good save on it.
Twellman on the right, plays it to Koutsoukas. He's got a good right foot. Pittsburgh doesn't want to let him have too much room this afternoon. Tasu holding it, still with it. In the corner, played out by Charlie Carey, who's on for his first shift. No score from Kansas City in the Kemper Arena as Papaleo rolls it ahead for Terlecki. They're trying to catch the Comets on a line change. Stan cuts to the outside of Mikowski, but he's by himself. Waits for some help. Hagen now joining in the rush. Stan still in there, mixing it up with 2 Comets. Forces the ball in the corner. Hagen trying to help out. And Stan finally draws the foul. Kansas City couldn't get that ball away from him.
And that's the first foul of the game. Remember, 6 fouls against the team, and there will be a bench penalty situation.
Terlecki off the boards. Kicked out by Manny Schwartz. It goes into the crowd, out of play. We have 12:47 remaining in this opening quarter, and it is scoreless. John Kowalski told me before the game he wasn't going to be thinking too much about matchups in this one. He was going to let the game go as it is. Right now, with this break in the action, there's no score. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Welcome back to the Kemper Arena. I'm John Paul Della Camera, along with John Sanders. It is a scoreless tie between the Spirit and the Kansas City Comets in a must-win game, really, for the Pittsburgh Spirit. They have Vosmeyer on now with Hagen and Liverich, Marr and McKenzie. Bobby Vosmeyer to McKenzie off the boards from Marr, but he couldn't get it home. Rebound goes home. McKenzie is going to get credit for it, but it looked like it touched off of a Kansas City player. We'll wait and check it out on the replay. In any event, the Spirit strike first. They lead it 1-0.
McKenzie gets the goal. He made the initial pass off the board. Marr looking for it. It'll kick free. Here's McKenzie in the right spot. He wins the battle against Gino Schiraldi. That's number 2 in white, who was the defender. But McKenzie got the foot on it, picks up the goal for Dave, his 7th of the year. It comes at 2:16. Kevin Marr picks up the assist, and the Spirit take the lead.
You can see it easily in the replay, but when we saw it live, I thought Schiraldi had kicked it. Petcher trying to play it to DiBernardo. Now on the left wing side, Mangione. Pittsburgh leads it 1-0 on a McKenzie goal. Schiraldi cuts it inside. Marr breaks it up to Vossmeyer. Pittsburgh trying to move it out. Hagen with a good effort, but Mangione will be there. Hagen will get it back and now dumps it back the other way. Papaleo handling it in his own zone. 7th goal of the season for Dave McKenzie. Marr the assist, or Vossmeyer the assist at 2:16 they call it.
Well, they said Vossmeyer, but I think they're going to have to change it. Vossmeyer was involved in the play, but actually it was between Marr and McKenzie, so they'll have to check that.
Yeah, Vossmeyer was the one that took the kick initially.
Right.
Foul on the Comets, so Pittsburgh will put it in play. That should be 2 fouls on KC. The long ball played out of the corner to Mark Liverich, who started the year with the Comets. Pushed by Petcher. That's another foul. So give 3 to the Comets. Steve Petcher, a whole pile of penalty minutes in his career. A very aggressive defender. Bob Vossmeyer now with a free kick. From the near boards, plays it out to Liverich. Mark faking, trying to pass it in. It was blocked by Charlie Carey. Vossmeyer backpedaling on it. By the midfield line. It's a 1-0 Spirit lead.
And by the way, John Paul, they have officially made the change and given the assist to Kevin Marr, which is the way we saw it.
McKenzie with it at his own red line. Double team, lifts it towards Liverich. It's going to go in on Manny Schwartz, who just holds on to it. Rolling it up the field as Kansas City changes in the fly. Pittsburgh will attempt to do likewise. Terlecki on now for Liverich. Spikus into the attack zone. Kapka blocking it. Along the boards, players battling for it. McKenzie won it with a little too much aggressiveness. First foul of the game on Pittsburgh.
You know, John Paul, it's good to get off to a good start, but Kansas City on Friday night scored 29 seconds into their game with Los Angeles. Looked very comfortable, wound up losing that one 8-4. So hang on, a lot can happen before we get finished.
Mikowski played it far post and he just missed it. Around the boards, a quick shot. Twellman is stopped by Papaleo. Off the boards, it comes back out. Twellman will get it. This is a unique team when you think about it. Mikowski, a defender, leads the team in shots on goal, and he's their all-time leading scorer. Usually it's a forward. Here comes Hagen on the right. Dave Hagen. Usually you can count on him for a score or two on a televised game. Lays it back to John O'Hara. Hagen's next point will be his 100th as a member of the Spirit in a couple of years. That's not bad at all. Kapka out to Topolsky as Hagen goes to the bench for Ian Sibbies.
And, of course, it has been Hagen, Sibbies, and Stan Terlecki, the leading offensive producers for Pittsburgh. That should have been a call, and it was not.
I would have called it. Manny Schwartz out of his goal, plays it the other way. Joe Papaleo out of his goal area, up by the red line, in fact, to Topolsky. Long one up for Stan Terlecki.
Twellman is really banging Terlecki, too.
I was saying before, I don't think anyone except for Twellman could keep up with Stan Terlecki. We're seeing some static on the Kansas City bench at Marty Templin. He just gave him a warning. Mikowski coming up the field on the left wing side for Laurie Abrahams. 25 points for Abrahams in his last 13 games. Kutsukas cutting. Broken up by Kapka, who just blasted off the boards, and down the field it will go. Manny Schwartz to Twellman. Now it's Mikowski. Plays it off the boards, wants his own ball. O'Hara is there to read it, breaks it up, but Kutsukas comes in. I think Mikowski may have held him. We couldn't see it along the boards, but Greg must have grabbed the hold of Johnny so that they could have an advantage. And Gino DiPolito was right there.
And that is penalty number 4. There's the grab as he reached in and stopped John from going to pick up the ball. Johnny O'Hara, by the way, will be our guest at halftime of this afternoon's game.
4 fouls on Kansas City. Spirit leading it 1-0 on a McKenzie goal as Terlecki works it. Being chased there by Twellman, and now Ficus. Stan manhandled, but no foul. Still dribbling it. Up for Ian Sibbies. It comes loose. Ficus will get it. Sibbies knocks it away. Moves it up for Carey. Sibbies working hard to win it back. Topolsky racing after it. Back to the feet of Papaleo. 1-0 Pittsburgh on McKenzie's goal from Marr at 2:16 of the opening quarter. Max 7th of the year. Long ball for Liverich from Topolsky. It's too long. Petcher working it back to Manny Schwartz. Throws it long for Charlie Carey. Kevin Marr is there, but it gets by everybody. Papaleo coming out. Plays it up the near boards. Wanted Kapka, but it doesn't get there. Schiraldi at midfield. Plays it for DiBernardo. Angelo cutting to the right. Shoots it wide. Rebound. Schiraldi couldn't get enough on it. Kansas City loves to play it against those boards, and they almost had an opportunity that time.
And Joe Papaleo not happy with the official on that call. He thought that Gino should have called because he took a bump in the box area from one of the Kansas City players. Vosmeyer up the right side for McKenzie. Mack working hard, running it up the right side. McKenzie's goal is the only one thus far as Vosmeyer tries to break it up. Now McKenzie in there with DiBernardo. A little too much. Foul on Dave McKenzie. And that is the third Spirit foul. Kansas City has 4. Mark Frederickson working it upfield. Up the left wing side for Charlie Carey. Another foul. This one on Kevin Marr, and it's even all of a sudden at 4 fouls apiece. Well, the Spirit in the last game against Cleveland became much more aggressive, more physical, had a total of 24 fouls called in that game, and that's a lot for Kansas City, or rather for Pittsburgh, and there's the one that call goes against Kevin Marr. When you see those calls, you obviously think it should go for your team, but you never know how the officials are going to call it. A Schiraldi shot is punched out by Papaleo. On the left side, Liverich bangs it out of there. Liverich worked hard the other night. Didn't score, but did a great job. Foul on Kansas City, an elbow on Charlie Carey. And I tell you what, they're calling him in this first quarter. They really have been so far. They've called almost everything. It's almost like touch fouls in basketball. Here's the collision. And you can look at this, and the fans here were unhappy. You can call it either way. Hagen running it upfield now with Liverich. Takes the shot. Nice save off the left hand of Manny Schwartz. That could have been 2-0. Vosmeyer off the boards, but right at Manny Schwartz, who has no problems with that one. Well, I think Bobby Vosmeyer that time wanted to get a little more of a bounce, was trying to bounce it out into the box area where he had Mark Liverich standing, but it got the roll and went right into the hands of Schwartz. Spirit lead 1-0 as DiBernardo plays it up the field for Petcher. He likes to use the boards, especially if he's in that deep. Out to DiBernardo. Vosmeyer picking him up. DiBernardo cutting to the left. Shoots it off the boards. Petcher missed as he shot it wide. Vosmeyer bangs it out. Liverich will go after it as Petcher and Vosmeyer collide upfield. Mark Liverich down the left wing. Shoots one off the boards. Hagen couldn't get a good bounce. Dave could not quite get to it. Liverich really turned it on for the first time that I've seen him in open field really show his speed that time. Frederickson giving it to Abrahams. The deflection in the box doesn't work. Another try. Score. Mark Frederickson. It's tied at 1. So right after Pittsburgh had gone all the way up the field, they did not get one, but Kansas City marched right back, and here it is. There's the initial shot, comes into the box area. It's deflected. You'll see that Frederickson is in there. He's number 12. Keep your eye on him. The ball is kicked loose by Abrahams, who's probably going to get the assist. That comes at exactly 8 minutes of the first quarter. We're dead even at 1. I told you not to go anyplace. We had a lot more coming your way this afternoon. Nice shot, upper corner. Frederickson's goal is his 10th goal of the season from Laurie Abrahams. Ball is played up the field, and there's a whistle. If that's on Kansas City, that's 6, and that is. So we will have the 2-minute bench penalty situation coming up. Pittsburgh will have a power play. The score, Pittsburgh 1, Kansas City 1, and you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. And as we come back, a penalty on Kansas City for their 6th foul. Kansas City has killed 10 penalties in a row, but Pittsburgh has done well on their power play of late. 9 power play goals in their last 14 attempts. Jalecki will try to make it 10 against Frederickson. Overall, Kansas City 79% on the year. That's number 1 in the MISL in killing penalties, and they do this well too. Frederickson, short-handed, takes the shot, and Papaleo made the save. 1-on-1. Frederickson may have heard some footsteps behind him, and that would have been disaster for Pittsburgh. And Papaleo came up limping too. Paul Child was decked at the red line ahead of the play. You didn't see it, but he was crushed. Liverich up the left side. He's dumped. That's a foul in Kansas City. I'll tell you what, this game is going to get controversial if it isn't already. It's also going to get very, very physical. I mean, Paul Child was flattened right at the red line. I saw that. I took my eye off to look at Papaleo when you said he got up limping, and then I noticed that, but I saw Child getting decked. Here's the save. You know, John, Kansas City has not scored a shorthanded goal this season. That would have been a great time for them. Crowd still booing. Oh, it's going to be a long afternoon for Gino and company as Kittleberger comes over. And the conversation now is with Liverich. Jim Kittleberger, the trainer, came over to get Mark Liverich, who took the tumble. I want to see how they rule this, because if the trainer comes out for an injured player, he is not allowed to come back unless there's a dead ball situation. That's what happened in Cleveland a couple of weeks ago.
and the third official called it on Pittsburgh for an illegal substitution. I'm not sure if he's going to count that. Jimmy never looked at him, but he was out in the field. Hagen now out to Stan Terlecki, holding it in a 1-1 tie. Playing it for Child, not a good ball, and it's deflected back the other way. Pittsburgh really has to bear down on this power play. They're not doing that.
A good job so far by Fredrickson out there and Schiraldi for Kansas City. They're really forcing the play, even though they're trying to kill the penalty.
Vossmeyer in for Terlecki, off a bounce.
There's number 8.
Remember, one more, and there's another penalty, and then it can go up to 12 and so on. I've never seen anyone get 12 this year, but it may have happened.
Well, Kansas City, or Pittsburgh, has gotten 9 1/4 one time this season.
That's not a hard push. I would have let that one go. That was not that bad. Right now it is 8 fouls in Kansas City. Pittsburgh with 4. It is a 1-1 tie, and now I see a penalty going up on the board. They put it up on Manny Schwartz. Unsportsmanlike conduct, so he must have said something. The bad part, John, there is that that does not count as a foul. It is only a penalty, so Kansas City could still end up with another one.
Well, I think it came after the foul was called, so we still had the foul, and you are still watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
We're back live. It's a 5-man situation for Pittsburgh against 3 for Kansas City. Normally that means that there are 2 players open. And while Laurie Abrahams will serve this penalty, the key is for Pittsburgh to move that ball around, John. One touch it a lot because there has to be 2 guys open.
Well, Coach Rick Benben on the other bench is he's beside himself because you don't see very many white shirts out there right now. Only 3, and the crowd is going to try to rally the Comets through this in a 1-1 game. But that's what we wanted when we came here.
Stan Terlecki will get it from the corner. Plays it out to Liverich. Martin takes the shot. Opposite his foot. It's loose. Schwartz dives to make the save.
And a foul was called on Paul Child.
And that will be number 5 on Pittsburgh.
They are calling everything this afternoon.
We better be careful up here. I mean, nab us. There was Sibbies, but that ball didn't get a good bounce for him. Petcher. Child may have wanted a handball. Well, when we look at that, it looked like Schwartz collided with Petcher, not with Child. Hagen up the left side for Liverich. 44 seconds, and then Kansas City will get 1 player back, a minute 34, and the other is Terlecki. Shoots one wide. Liverich, the shot blocked by Steve Petcher. Liverich again has it blocked. Terlecki hustling for it, won the ball. Away from Gino Schiraldi. 30 seconds, and Kansas City will get another player back. Tied at 1. Stan cutting it. Schiraldi takes it away. Liverich trying to get back. Foul on Pittsburgh. That is their 6th.
Unbelievable. I don't know what Gino did before this game, but he's bound to determine that nobody's going to touch anybody out there.
I don't know if the officials' contracts have been renegotiated. Are they going to get paid by the foul? Well, it's on Pittsburgh, so that means that Pittsburgh will be 1 man in the box, but in 22 seconds, Kansas City will get a player back. So basically, it's still a 5, but it will be, 4 on 3. 4 on 3 right now. I have to think about this. 4 on 3 for Pittsburgh. Then it will become 4 on 4 when Kansas City gets a player out in 22 seconds. And then in a minute 15, there will be something like a 45-second power play for the Kansas City Comets. We'll have to try and watch that because we're not used to dealing in mathematical situations like this.
And keep in mind, we still have 5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first quarter. Plenty of time for a lot to happen. Kansas City is now only 1 foul away from having a second bench penalty in this quarter. There is Coach John Kowalski. I knew his team would be intense. I thought they would be physical, and I'm sure Gino DiPolito knew that coming in because it's so important for both teams. It is like a playoff situation.
The atmosphere is like a playoff game, to say the least. As Schwartz throws it up the field for Fredrickson. Chipping it. He wanted Petcher. Papaleo bangs it out of there. That's all you'd have to do is call that for a delay of game, and Pittsburgh's bench, I'm sure, would explode.
Well, that's what the fans here in the Kemper Arena were after, and we're going to have a wholesale change for the Pittsburgh Spirit as O'Hara returns.
Here is where it is very important not to get frustrated by what the referees are calling. They'll probably settle down second quarter. The fouls will be probably less, and maybe by the third quarter you won't see hardly anything called. But right now the referees are dictating the game, to say the least. 4 Spirit players for 3, but in 6 seconds Kansas City will get a player back, and wisely they just send it down the field. Manny Schwartz, that'll kill up the rest of the time, and it's now 4 on 4. Benny Tabak coming on for the Comets. Fredrickson to Tim Trollman. Holding it. O'Hara on with Terlecki, Kapka, and Topolsky as Papaleo makes an easy play.
Well, the fans are going to be a factor in this one, and you hear them getting into the game, much as they did in the Civic Arena in that big win on Friday night for Pittsburgh. That's what makes it so tough on the road, but you've got to adjust to it, adapt to the noise, the officiating, whatever the situation is.
John O'Hara for Terlecki. In traffic, it's taken away by Greg Mikowski, and the Comets have possession. In 18 seconds, they will get a player back. That will be Abrahams, and they'll have a man advantage. For 45 seconds, it's Tabak. Plays it to the corner. Z apparently pushed him enough. So, Kansas City will have a free kick. You can just see the expressions on the players' faces will tell you. Mikowski from DiBernardo, a shot! Just missed the post, and Benny Tabak could have had an easy one.
Benny was standing right in the doorway that time, simply missed the ball.
Greg Mikowski holding it. Power play now on as Abrahams is on the field. 5-on-4 for now, 39 seconds. Erhard Kapp gets his first shift of the afternoon. A 1-1 tie from Kansas City. The Comets with a power play. Benny Tabak in the corner. Laurie Abrahams. Out to Mikowski in the neutral zone. For Benny Tabak. In the corner, Abrahams. Open man in front. Bickus missed. Rebound missed. And the header by Mikowski. Bickus again. I heard a whistle. Is it on Kansas City? That's 9.
It is on Kansas City. It's a handball. In their eagerness to put it in, the battle in front. Here's the open shot that is missed, comes up high, but watch the effort for the rebound. Erhard Kapp is there. The header just missed. Now Erhard battles. Ball comes up and catches him right on the arm. That's Charlie Ficus, is it not, who got in there? Got him on the arm. So that will send another man in white jersey over to the penalty box. But the toughest job may be keeping track of all this afternoon.
Oh, I'm sure that will be the case. There's been a mess of penalties. This is Kansas City's third time in the box, actually. They hit one for 6 fouls. There was a penalty on Manny Schwartz, and now the 9th foul. Pittsburgh just had their one in there for 6, but that man is going to be busy.
There's not enough space there if we keep up at this pace.
Pittsburgh has 7. Remember, 2 more, and they could be in the box as well.
And still plenty of time left in the first quarter. 3:34. Back to 4 apiece right now. And in about 18 seconds, it will become a one-man Pittsburgh advantage for a while. So the Spirit will have an opportunity.
Yep, they'll have a minute 42 in the power play, and O'Hara may kill some time here. They're looking at the clock. They want to just break out on their power play. Papaleo holding it. Fakes going to John O'Hara. Fakes again, and now gives it to John O'Hara in a 1-1 tie. Up the far wing to Hagen. Sibbies is now on for Pittsburgh. They have the power play. Ian waits. They want to get their players out there. Child now coming on. He is the person in our Giant Eagle goal getter contest that has picked to score the goal. Stan Terlecki pushing it right side. Hagen, a shot at the boards wide. Rebound loose in the box. Banged out of there by Tim Twellman. Papaleo way out at the red line to help out for Pittsburgh. It's a 1-1 tie. 2:50 to go. And this is the opening quarter. David Hagen chased back by Fredrickson. Sends it over to Terlecki. Child running toward the box area, the goal box, along with Sibbies. Terlecki for Sibbies, knocked out on the right side for Hagen. Back for Terlecki, he holds it. Right side for Hagen, a shot off the glass and wide. Liverich wanting to settle it down, couldn't do it. Terlecki over there to help out. Backheels it for Liverich to enable Pittsburgh to maintain possession. That's a good play.
It is indeed, because we only have 45 seconds now. We need to cut a couple more shots out of it.
Stan towing it right side. Hagen, a shot knocked out by Schwartz, and the rebound, Fredrickson put it right back to him.
Good save by Schwartz that time. Great shot by Hagen. I thought he had it past him, and he just about did.
I think that shows you one reason why Schwartz is the #2 goalkeeper in the MISL.
And goals against average and even 4, and anything in that area is excellent.
Stan Terlecki with it. To Liverich. Left-footed shot, a rocket, and it was knocked out of there by Manny Schwartz.
Still 20 seconds left in that penalty, so the Spirit really have had some opportunities here, and they have kept the pressure on during this power play.
That's what good goalkeeping, though, can do to you. Keeps you right in the game. Here's one play from Hagen that you commented on earlier, John. He looked like he was beaten to the far post.
The ball almost got behind him.
Back live, Liverich to Hagen, who scores, and there's Hagen's 100th point. And he continues to amaze the TV audience. David Hagen gives Pittsburgh a 2-1 lead. That is a power play goal, and here it is, John.
Liverich with a beautiful feed. Hagen right there. He picked the upper right-hand corner as he looked at the goal and was able to get it behind Schwartz. So Liverich gets the assist. Hagen, goal number 29 for the season and number 100 for his career. Paul Child cheering because the Spirit have regained the lead at 2-1.
Dave Hagen's 29th goal of the season. He has now scored 1 goal in 7 of his last 9 games. He's been hot.
And he also keeps his TV streak alive. I think you figured up he has scored in every television game that we've ever done, hasn't he?
I believe he has.
In his 2 years with the team.
Yeah, both years. We joke about it before the game, but then he makes it count. Katsoukas, broken up by O'Hara. Ficus in there battling. Foul on John O'Hara. That's 8th on Pittsburgh.
This period's not over yet.
Minute 39 to go. Kansas City 9 fouls, Pittsburgh 8. Pittsburgh in more trouble there than Kansas City. Spirit are leading it 2-1 in the corner. Katsoukas out to Mikowski. He likes that left foot, but he got it on his right. In the corner for Abrahams, a shot blocked by Zeke Kapka, who's in a good spot there. Another one played in. Kapka sends it up, but not far enough. Mikowski tackled away. How did Zeke get out there? That's a nice play for Kapka, who was deep in the box helping out.
Yeah, because it appeared the offensive man was behind Ian Sibbies on the play, and that would have been like a two-man advantage.
Good hustle from Kapka. Katsoukas, right side to Tim Clark. Right wing boards. Mikowski pushed off. He can't argue that.
Well,
but he is.
If you touch him, they're going to call it today.
That's 10 fouls on Kansas City. 1:08 to go in the first quarter.
You realize we've had 18 fouls called here in the first quarter between the two teams. That's a lot.
I don't recall a game like that this year where both teams got that many fouls. And both teams are in jeopardy of hitting 12. Papaleo's pass is intercepted. Now Ficus will have a chance, but it's blocked by Adam Topolsky. Joe almost cost himself that time with that distribution. He came into the game. John Kowalski wasn't sure who he was going to use in goal. Papaleo had a twisted right ankle, but apparently Joe looked good enough in the warm-up to convince John to give him the start. John wasn't sure. He said he might even use both goalkeepers in this game, half each, depending on the way it went. 2-1, Spirit are leading it. Goals by McKenzie and Hagen for Pittsburgh. Fredrickson for Kansas City. Hagen's goal came on the power play.
It has been a wild first quarter.
Off the boards, Abrahams. Fouled by McKenzie. I'm not sure if Mac pushed him or if that was just a draft from an open door here in Kansas City. But we got a player going down, and that is foul number 9 on Pittsburgh.
Abrahams hit the deck. A little bit of acting on his part, but that's all part of it too. And Coach John Kowalski now is going to have to make a decision. We still have 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Child will go to the bench. And keep in mind that the penalty does not end because the quarter ends. The penalty carries over into the second quarter of play. And Pittsburgh is going to call a timeout right now and talk things over.
Well, they want to discuss what's going on the field. I think John wants to definitely make sure in this particular case that they're very careful. There's only 50 seconds left in the quarter, and here's the bad goal category. If you're Pittsburgh, you don't want to give one up. You'd like to talk about things and have a 2-1 lead going into the next quarter. And the other good thing is that you can concentrate all of your efforts here in trying to kill off this penalty and divide it. They'll only have a minute 10 when the next quarter starts. I'd like to remind everyone that the Spirit will be playing in their final TV game of the regular season on Sunday, April the 7th. That is against the Minnesota Strikers. That's going to be a benefit for the Easter Seals Society. Kickoff time is 2:30 on KDK television. I would also like to remind you that right now we have operators standing by to save you some money on a game coming up against the Baltimore Blast. The Blast are coming in actually for 2 consecutive games at the Civic Arena because of a change in the schedule with the New York Cosmos. You can order tickets on your MasterCard or Visa card by dialing 642-2067. It is for next Saturday afternoon, April 6th. It's Long John Silver's short stay when the Spirit battle the Baltimore Blast. 642-2067. And operators are standing by right now to save you some money. Power play coming up here for Kansas City. 50 seconds left in this quarter, and Pittsburgh wants to be careful. Right here on a set play, it's cost them this year. DiBernardo wide, Tabak missed it. Papaleo blocks the next try, but there's where Pittsburgh again almost cost themselves dearly by giving an easy goal up.
And Tabak really should have had the goal in that situation. Again, he was all alone. That's a couple that he's missed standing right on the doorstep.
Missed one about 6 minutes ago. Benny Tabak on the left. In a corner for Abrahams. Off of Mikowski, and O'Hara blasted out of there. It goes into the stands. You know, hey, come on, much preparation as you give players, it's amazing that that happens. I'm sure John Kowalski just got through talking about what to do on this set play, but again, Pittsburgh made an error somewhere in there because Tabak was wide open.
Paul Child standing right next to our camera, and you can hear everything he has to say.
There's a shot blocked by John O'Hara on the part of Benny Tabak. Mikowski over there battling. Mikowski wants a foul on Pittsburgh's Kevin Marr, but he doesn't get one. Players are going to be afraid to go after 50-50 balls if this keeps up. Tabak in the corner. Abraham's right back. McKenzie calmly flicks it out. DiBernardo a shot blocked by John O'Hara at the horn. Ending the opening quarter of play, and Pittsburgh, in a thriller, leads over Kansas City 2-1. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
We have played 15 minutes here in Kemper Arena, Kansas City, and it's Pittsburgh Spirit leading the Kansas City Comets by a score of 2-1. The Spirit scored first. Dave McKenzie, 2 minutes 16 seconds into the game, teaming up with Kevin Marr to make it 1-0. Then at the 8-minute mark, it was Fredrickson who scored with an assist to Abrahams that tied the game at 1. We got into a lot of penalties at that point in the game. One time Kansas City 2 men short, and when we start the second quarter, Pittsburgh will be a man short, but it was Hagen from Liverich on the power play to make it 2-1. That came at 13:10. They played the last minute 50 scoreless. We're set to go to the next 15 minutes, and we're still looking for the goal getter, John Paul.
That's right. Terry May will receive certificates from Armour Meats and Tropicana Juices because Paul Child did not score in that quarter. Larry Pahula is our contestant in the second quarter. He has chosen Stan Terlecki to score the goal. That's not a bad choice, considering Stan is the leading scorer on the Pittsburgh Spirit. And we'll see if we can get a winner. This is now worth $200 in groceries from the new Giant Eagle. We've never had a winner this season, and that's something that everybody is hopeful for. It'll probably end up being one of these big $400 ones. That's the maximum that you can win if no one scores going into that fourth quarter. All set for the second quarter, 2-1, Pittsburgh leading it. We go now to the play-by-play with John Sanders.
And 1 minute and 8 seconds left in the penalty to Paul Child. So the Comets have the power play situation, trying to get even in this game. It's 2-1, this Pittsburgh Spirit leading. We're in the Kemper Arena, Kansas City. Delighted to have you with us on a Sunday afternoon. DiBernardo has it, drops it in the corner, shot, and a save quickly by Papaleo. O'Hara gets it back to him. The shot taken by Charlie Ficus on the power play. And a long ball, long toss up to Earhart Cap. Right at midfield now. The ball comes all the way back to Manny Schwartz. Time remaining in the penalty, 39 seconds. Time remaining in the first half, 14:25. The Comets and the Spirit involved in a battle for the last playoff spot. It's loose in front. McKenzie battling on the far side. Tabak is there for Kansas City. Bring it back in front. Makowski running the power play. There's a drive knocked down by Papaleo. Makowski follows, misses to the right. Comes back out. DiBernardo picks it up. Back to Makowski. His drive is high up over the crossbar. Cap battling on the far side with Tabak. Benny wins the ball. Moves it in front. O'Hara is there for Pittsburgh. Another shot knocked down by O'Hara. It'll come back out, and time has run out in the penalty. Paul Child is back on, and the teams are at equal strength now. 13:40 left in the first half. 2-1, Pittsburgh leading. Charlie Carey comes back to take the ball right at midfield for Kansas City. Charlie Ficus is on as they make a change now. Coming up to pick it up, Tim Twellman goes back to Carey. In front, Hagen intercepts. Gives it to Paul Child, who leaves it for Dave Hagen. Back it comes to John O'Hara, who's on with McKenzie right now. And Bob Bosmeyer comes on, along with Ian Sibbies. So Sibbies with Bosmeyer and Child. That's the offensive line right now. Sibbies walks it in, now backs it up. Adam Topolsky on. 13 minutes exactly remaining first half. Bosmeyer. Chris Bandov over there to cover him. And they battle in the corner, trying to clear and do. Carey has it, gets it to Bandov. Back comes Kansas City. Goes behind Bandov that time, and right there to pick it off is John O'Hara.
This is the first time, John, that John Kowalski this afternoon has changed lines, so it'll be interesting to see what combinations happen next. The other night he used Terlecki with Child together, and they were successful.
Sibbies back to Vosmeyer. Mangione marks him right at midfield. First time we've seen Nick Mangione. In the corner, looking for Terlecki, who's held.
No foul, though.
Well, Stan works it all the way back outside the red line. They swing it to Bob Bosmeyer. Looking for Sibbies. 2-1, the Spirit leading. Bosmeyer comes in on Manny Schwartz, who picks it up. So back comes Kansas City. 11:57 left first half. Walking in is Twellman. Gets it in the corner to Bandov. But his pass goes awry, and it's picked up by Terlecki. Stan on a run down the right side. He's got Topolsky with him. Stan still running. Looks for Adam. He's there. Terlecki, a shot knocked down in front by Schwartz. Stan gets it back. He's bumped off the ball, and Kansas City takes over. Boris Bandov with it. Down the right side now for Abrahams. Settles in the corner against Topolsky. Laurie Abrahams turns. Reverses. Kevin Marr knocks it to the far side. Katsoukas picks it up for Kansas City. Aso Katsoukas with a drive and a save by Papaleo. Comes back to Twellman. In front, Topolsky to Sibbies. Nice reverse pass by Stan Terlecki as he backheeled it to Sibbies. Pittsburgh controlling the ball now. Stan gets around Ficus. Terlecki with a drive, misses to the left side. Sibbies tries to control for Kansas City. Can't do it. Taken away from him by Greg Mikowski, and they are not calling anything in the second quarter.
Great individual effort, though, by Stan. And in fact, the third goal for Pittsburgh. It's still a one-goal game, close game, both sides. Right.
Mikowski with a drive. It's knocked down in front. McKenzie battles Ficus. Dave wins the ball. Brings it out to Mark Liverich, who's on. Back to Hagen. It's Hagen now playing a midfield with Child and this man, Mark Liverich. Liverich moves it in. He drives. Swartz is there to make the save. Back comes Kansas City. 10:15 to play. We're in the first half. It's 2-1. Spirit. Long lead pass for Carey in the corner. And Papaleo came out to get it. Still 2-1. The Spirit leading the Comets. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. 10:09 left in the first half here in Kemper Arena, Kansas City. It's 2-1. The Pittsburgh Spirit leading the Kansas City Comets. A showdown, playoff time in the MISL. And let's go back to take a look at some of the action, the shooting that took place. And there's the save by Papaleo.
Katsoukas has among the better right-footed shots in the league. When you stop a shot from Tasu Katsoukas, you've done your job. He's got 24 goals this year, 161 shots. He is second in line to Mikowski, but when he lets them go, you've really made a big save when you stopped him.
Kansas City with it. In the far corner it goes. Charlie Ficus. They bring it back out. Child is there defensively against Mikowski. His shot knocked down in front. Liverich will try to control for Pittsburgh. Mark reverses. Is bumped. Almost taken away by Charlie Carey. All the things they were calling in the first quarter, they're not calling now.
Still no fouls at all in quarter number 2. And we've seen some fouls that could have been called, but it's been a tradition, it seems, this year in the MISL. Call them tight first quarter, let things go the rest of the way.
Well, we had 19 fouls between the two teams in the first quarter. Each team served a couple of bench penalties because of it. Now Papaleo moves it ahead. Hagen got a little room in front, goes back to Liverich. Mark controls. Looks for Hagen. Good move. He'll use the boards right across. It's knocked down in front. Picking it off was Mikowski. Greg Mikowski made the save. O'Hara drive high up over the glass and out of play.
That was the kind of a play where you'd almost expect Pittsburgh to score even by accident. There was so many feet in front of that goal that it could have gone in even off a Kansas City player. Liverich is going to come in deep. This is a great fake on Schiraldi. He took him to the cleaners. Look how far out Schwartz is. I thought it was going to go in off a Kansas City player and give Pittsburgh a 3-1 lead, but right now it remains at 2-1. Spirit are still leading it on goals by Hagen and McKenzie. Fredrickson, the only score thus far for Kansas City. I still like the way Pittsburgh is playing. The last two games, a lot of discipline, a lot of poise. They came into this game with a lot of confidence.
Leading 2-1. Bandov has it. Mikowski, who's on the field a lot, if you haven't noticed, he's out there all the time. DiBernardo, they bring it back now. Fredrickson, who played well in the first quarter. Down goes the drive off to the left by Mikowski, who went down, got up, and still took the shot. Johnny O'Hara will bring it back to Joe Papaleo. Papaleo looks at Bandov and goes to Hagen, who will bring it right back to him. 8:45 to play in the first half here in Kemper Arena. 2-1. John Paul said all the scoring came in the first 15 minutes. Adam Topolsky. Spirit trying to set something up offensively, and they're using Papaleo to start that offense.
Well, we're seeing Kansas City pick up the Spirit right at the red line of Pittsburgh, trying to force a turnover deep.
Hagen at midfield. Drops it for Topolsky. Keep in mind, right now Dave Hagen is playing a midfielder. He's had to change. Child trying to touch it over to Hagen. Gets a crazy bounce. Goes right back to Fredrickson, who heads it to Swartz. Back they come. Chino Schiraldi on the run. At the red line, looking for help. Schiraldi against Kapka. Terlecki bangs it away, and Papaleo is there. Topolsky will start up. 7:50 remaining first half. 2-1. Pittsburgh leading Kansas City, and Grego Stauchek is out for the first time in the game. Drive in front is booted away. Pittsburgh trying to keep the heat on. There's a shot by O'Hara, and it's kind of guided aside that time by Schwartz into the Steve Petcher area. Back come the Comets. Spirit leading. Here is Petcher across the red line with a drive knocked down in front by Ostapchuk. Outside the red line. Petcher again controlling for Kansas City. Working with Fredrickson. 7 minutes and 2 seconds left now. This is Fredrickson. He had the goal for Kansas City in the first quarter. Twellman controls against Terlecki.
Come on, everybody!
Off the boards, it comes in front. Knocked down by Adam Topolsky, who controls. Here comes Topolsky. Terlecki now from Ostapchuk. Stan with a little bit of room. He's got Topolsky on his left, drives, and the save is made by Schwartz. Stan elected to take the shot, had Topolsky open on the right side. There's Kevin Marr coming up to take it away from Petcher, and the Comets will make a change. Twellman will move it across the field, as they do. This is Abrahams, walks it in. Gets a return pass from Makowski against McKenzie. Steered away and controlled by the Pittsburgh Spirit. Back they come, a 3-on-2. The capture knocked away from him by Charlie Ficus. Now McKenzie looking for Kevin Marr. He's got it at the red line. Sibbies is open deep, can't get the ball to him because Katsoukas is there for Kansas City. 5 minutes, 50 seconds to play first half. The Comets try to break out. Ficus is slowed down by Terlecki. Goes to Katsoukas. Paso with it. Intercepted by Sibbies. He tried to go far side to Charlie Ficus, not able to do it. Vossmeyer to Stan Terlecki. Stan looking for Sibbies. It's knocked down in front by Makowski. Back to McKenzie now. 2-1, the Spirit leading. No score so far in the second quarter. It's 2-1. Terlecki with a drive, misses high. Vossmeyer will move it back in. Bobby turns, back to Terlecki. Stan off the boards, nobody there for the rebound. Now Vossmeyer takes over. Kevin Marr against Twellman. Still no fouls called in the entire second quarter. There's one.
Tell you what, the work rate, very impressive on the part of both teams, but especially Pittsburgh. Terlecki working hard both ends of the field. We saw Bobby Vossmeyer doing a great job, but Pittsburgh didn't come up with a goal there, despite having a couple of good opportunities.
Katsoukas on the give and go, gets it back. Knocked down in front, picked up by DiBernardo. Makowski. Sibbies tried the tackle. Vossmeyer wins the ball. Abrahams in the corner. Battling against Vossmeyer. McKenzie is there as well. Abrahams with it. Back he comes. Trying to set it up. Knocked away by Ian Sibbies. Back it comes to midfield. Katsoukas will chase it down. 4:30 to play first half. Long ball for Abrahams. McKenzie will mark him. Back to Schiraldi. In the corner. DiBernardo, it comes right in front. Sibbies, lead ball for Terlecki. He's got a chance for a break. Here comes Stan. Katsoukas from behind catches up. They bang Stan on the boards.
You got to call a foul there. I don't know what they were waiting for. Stan got bumped the first time by Katsoukas, but they were letting it go. One foul apiece, and that's why players get confused, because they don't know what kind of a game it's going to be.
McKenzie now with 4 minutes left in the first half to O'Hara. John O'Hara will be on with us at halftime. Pass too far for Katsoukas, who was coming off anyway. So McKenzie now reverses to O'Hara. To Hagen. Dave, across the red line, picked up by Carey, and Carey wins the ball. Now it comes back to Hagen with a chance. He's got leverage, goes to him, saved by Schwartz. Now Topolsky with a drive, knocked down in front. Makowski was there. Hagen turns, a save by Schwartz. And now Kansas City clears. DiBernardo, they've got a chance for a 2-on-1. Here's the break, but the pass comes behind. The pass intended for Mangione, but it went behind him. He was all alone on right wing. Now Mangione settles. Banged by Topolsky, and Topolsky takes the ball away from him. The call will go against Mangione.
Pittsburgh had a great chance maybe 25, 30 seconds ago when the ball was knocked away. Here you're going to see the foul that's called against Mangione. But right before that, Carey lost the ball. Hagen got it, and only a great play by Schwartz kept us a 2-1 game. Pittsburgh still leading.
Down the right side it comes. Twellman with a drive. It's over the glass and out of play. It's 2-1. Spirit leading, and you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Along with John Paul Delacamera, this is John Sanders. Welcome back to Kemper Arena in Kansas City. 2:53 left in the first half. The Spirit clinging to a 1-goal lead. All the scoring came in the first half. But John Paul, we've had a lot of action here in the second quarter as well.
We're starting to go end-to-end. Here's the chance that you mentioned Hagen had after Carey had lost the ball. Puts it in front. Liverts trying to get a piece of it. The ball trickles free, and right after that, Carey had the ball in the corner. It squirted out. He made a bad pass, and Hagen slammed one, but Schwartz made a diving save to his left.
Papaleo will move it up. Ficus comes up to mark him, and Kansas City takes over on the pass. Petcher battles at midfield against Child, and the call goes against Petcher. Mark Liverich with Hagen and Child. Child hit the deck in the box, still controlled by Liverich, uses the boards, comes to the far side, picked up there by Abraham. Laurie will start back. He's got 2 men in front. Kansas City now with a good opportunity, a 3-on-2, but it's intercepted by O'Hara. A lot of open field that time. Now Liverich the other way. It's a 2-on-1 with Child. Here's Child. Misses the shot to the left side. Paul could not settle and could not score as a result. 2 minutes remaining first half.
Game starting to open up. There was one counterattack followed by a second one. It was a 4-on-2 that O'Hara broke up.
Kansas City now setting up their offensive attack. A drive. Papaleo is there. Follow, no good. Comes out to this side. O'Hara is there. Now Liverich crosses to the other side. Looking for Hagen. Picked up by Ficus from behind. Charlie tried to tackle it away from him. Couldn't do it. Hagen controls. Looks at O'Hara. Now goes to Mark Liverich. Mark turns. Drive by Child, just misses the top of the crossbar. Topolsky, there's Child with a deflection. It goes out of play. 1:22 to go. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Welcome back to Kansas City's Kemper Arena. Pittsburgh Spirit controlling at their own red line. Terlecki loses it to Schiraldi, who gets it back. Now Carey on the right side trying to come in. Papaleo almost reached for the ball when he was out of the box. Makowski keeps it in for Kansas City. Kevin Marr wins the battle against Abrahams. Now Kevin near midfield. 55 seconds left in the first half. A 2-1 Pittsburgh Spirit lead. Marr for Ostalchek. Craig will settle at the red line. Returns it to McKenzie at midfield with 45 seconds to play first half. 2-1 Spirit leading. Good move by Ostalchek, but his shot is knocked away by DiBernardo. 35 seconds now in the half. Stan Terlecki, possibly one more good opportunity here. Stan turning, crossing, loses the ball. DiBernardo has it. Looks for Carey. McKenzie against Carey. The call goes against Dave McKenzie. Would you believe that in the first quarter we had 19 fouls called? So 19 seconds left in this quarter, we've had 5 called. I'm not sure how you call that one.
A lot of great chances, though, for both teams, especially Pittsburgh. They've really had a lot of great opportunities, and hopefully the lack of a finish won't cost them.
Makowski puts it in play with a hard drive that's up over the glass. That'll mean a goal kick for Pittsburgh with 18 seconds to play in the first half.
I think it's important, John, for Pittsburgh to go into the dressing room with some kind of a lead, especially the way that they're playing. If you're playing well and you go into the dressing room tied or behind, I think there's a tendency to be let down a little bit, and John Kowalski has to convince his guys that they are playing well, but he should have no trouble if they can hold on to this lead.
Kevin Marr in no hurry. His clock running with 13 seconds left. Pittsburgh will take time. Carey comes up to apply a little pressure, so Papaleo puts it on the turf. 5 seconds now. Pittsburgh will be content to take this lead to the locker room, and they do. We played 30 minutes of soccer here in Kansas City's Kemper Arena. It's the Pittsburgh Spirit 2, the Kansas City Comets 1. We'll be back. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
But now it seems this year you have to come and play every single night. Last year, as you know, we beat up on the Memphises and the Buffaloes and even the New York Arrows. We used to beat them pretty regularly. Against the tougher teams, the Baltimores, the Clevelands, our record was only 500. And that's what we're running into, that kind of quality this year. Chicago's an excellent team. Baltimore's always good. Cleveland's good again. And then the teams from the West have given us a lot of trouble too. So there's no off night anymore in this league. You got to play every single game.
In your role as team captain, were there times that you felt a personal frustration? You had some injuries at one point, but then when the team really hasn't been able to maintain anything, for example, the most games we've won in a row is 2 in a row. It has been hard to maintain, and has that caused you some worry to say, hey, I'm the captain, maybe I should be able to spark this somehow?
Oh, absolutely. I've searched my soul. I've searched my soul for every day since we began having these problems. Tried to come up with an answer, as we all have. It's not been an easy situation. We have had injuries. We've had some internal problems, you know, and right now we seem to be coming out of it. We're healthier than we have been all season. Maybe we've put some of those problems behind us. I really hope we have, because I think that's affected us to some extent. So today we'll hopefully we're healthy and healthy and in a healthy state of mind too, and we can go out and try and put it all together.
Well, we have to look at it realistically. If we should go on in the second half and lose this game, we'd be 3 games behind with 5 games to play. A victory here puts us 1 game behind with 5 to play. I guess the plus factor, you look at it, Kansas City has not been a good road team, neither of the Pittsburgh Spirit. But you've got 4 of the last 5 at home. They have to go away to play 4 of their last 5. So I think realistically, this game, maybe more than any other during the course of the season, has to be the one that's going to be pivotal.
You're absolutely right. We don't like to, we really don't like to think of it that way, just because it just puts added pressure on us. When you're preparing for the game, I think you try to maintain your concentration and try not to feel that there's too much pressure on it. But there is, and we have to face it. There's a great deal of pressure on us to win this game and to play well. If we lose, we're really going to have our backs to the wall. They're there now, but they're going to get even closer if we can get any closer. So, as I mentioned before, I think if we can get a good effort, similar to the one we got against Cleveland Friday night, I expect that we'll come away with a result.
It'd be all right if you didn't wait quite so long, okay? John O'Hara, the captain of the Pittsburgh Spirit, at halftime here in the Kemper Arena in Kansas City. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Welcome back to the Kemper Arena. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Spirit are leading at 2-1. Our Giant Eagle goal-getter contestant is Rose Kummerly. She has chosen Greg Ostalchik, and we have chosen John Sanders to take you through the third quarter. See what happens here.
A long lead ball for Ian Sibbies, the kickoff by the Spirit to begin the third quarter of play. Makowski actually knocked it out of play. So Greg will walk back, and the Pittsburgh Spirit will put it in the far corner here in Kemper Arena, where they average about 13,000 fans a game. Another good house for this afternoon's Sunday afternoon playoff showdown between the Comets and the Pittsburgh Spirit. Gino DiPolino whistling things down here tonight, and they were busy in the first quarter, not so much in the second quarter. Topolsky tries to control, and the Comets break out. Katsoukas at his own red line slows down. He's got Ficus running ahead, along with Abrahams. Kapka marks him as he spins in the corner, and the foul goes against Pittsburgh. First foul in this, the third quarter. You can see Kapka running with Katsoukas.
Looks shoulder to shoulder. Boy, I guess we're tangling his feet up in Katsoukas' feet. That's why that one was called.
We've played 24 seconds of the third quarter, 15-minute quarters, 4 of them, so plenty of action yet to go this afternoon. Delighted to have you with us on this Sunday. Spirit controlling. Sibbies tried to back heel, couldn't do it. Now looks for Topolsky. Makowski is there. And the Comets trying to put on some early heat here in the third quarter. Charlie Ficus, number 9. This is Tim Twellman. Topolsky knocks it to midfield. Twellman will chase it down. A very conservative start to the third quarter.
Both teams look like they're going to feel each other out a little bit, afraid that maybe one more goal on the part of Pittsburgh might put Kansas City in a big hole, and Pittsburgh likewise not wanting to have this one tied up.
Makowski will bring it in. Ball comes to Stan Terlecki. Here comes Stan. Kapka runs behind him. The defensive play is made by Twellman. Good tackle by Twellman. Now O'Hara has it. Looks for McKenzie as he crosses the red line. Dave McKenzie now. Into the corner, will use the boards. It comes in front. Swartz got a piece of it and knocked it back out of play. 13:30 to play third quarter here in Kansas City's Kemper Arena. the number 2 goalkeeper in the MIL.